Welcome to Creators Cafe. I'm your host, Jessica Payne. I'm a performer, performance coach, and multi-hyphenate creator. I'm going to be bringing you conversations with some of my favorite creators where we talk about the sublime and the specifics of the creative journey. So grab a drink, get cozy. Let's go. James Connell is a singer-songwriter who is passionate about bringing the joys of pop music to his audiences. Starting at Berklee College of Music, he's gone from cruise lines to regional productions, from LA to New York and lots of stops in between. You can see him on Disney+. You can watch his YouTube channel where he has 12 million views. You can try to catch him live at Tramp Stamp Granny's, The Duplex, Sid Gold's, or all the piano bars he plays at. But you definitely want to try to catch his current project. He is the co-creator and music supervisor of the Lucy Lortel award-winning Titanique Off-Broadway. He's charming, he's talented, he smashed Celine Dion's songs into the world of the movie Titanic. I am delighted to introduce you to my guest, James Connell. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so
Cheers.
much.
Creators
Cheers.
Cafe.
Creators Cafe. Let's do it.
Let's do
I
it.
love it. What are you drinking today?
My lavender latte. I love lavender.
James Connell.
Yes.
How do you define yourself as a creator? How do you think of yourself identity-wise?
I started as a pianist, but I would say when I was young, I singer-songwriter first. But now I'm an arranger, orchestrator, conductor, music director. Those are the kinds of things I do. I'm in the music realm.
Okay, great.
Mostly.
So you've swung that way.
Yes.
Is there any aspect that you miss that you don't get to do as much that you want to?
I love acting, and I'm always around actors, and I used to do that a lot. And I still have chances to do it here and there, but that's something I always wish I could have done more. And to be honest with you, I love dancing, and I always wished I could have been a dancer. But music is like just something that came natural to me and that I love to do. And I still do all of those things. I write music and I produce songs. I'm a music producer as well, and I music direct constantly. That's my main gig as a music director.
So let's talk about that. So your big project right now is Titanique.
Titanique Off-Broadway.
Yes. Off-Broadway. It's
yes.
so exciting.
Thank you.
I didn't tell you, my mother-in-law, Nancy, and my brother-in-law, Bob, saw it and loved it.
That's great. The whole point of Titanique is really just to make people laugh and have fun and forget about the kooky, crazy world that's happening around us.
Nice.
So I'm glad they had a good time.
So tell everybody more about like what Titanique is, the concept, and how well it's doing. It's a Lucy Lortel award winner. You moved theaters. You started in LA. You moved it to New York. You extended. You moved theaters. You extended. You extended. That's unheard of. Like big productions are closing. That's unheard of. You're succeeding so wildly. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Tell me the story.
Titanique is an off-Broadway hit, and it's doing so well, and I'm so excited. We wrote this piece in 2017. My collaborators are Marla Mandel, Constantine Versuli, and Ty Blue. Ty and Connie and I met doing the For the Record series in Hollywood, and then I met Marla doing the Rockwell Table and Stage shows. They used to do a lot of parody shows there, and in 2017, I had just gotten off of a cruise ship for 7 months. I did For the Record for 7 months on a Norwegian cruise line. And the four of us were just kind of like down about 2016. I think it was like a rough year for a lot of people. And we wanted to create something that made our friends laugh and that just made us feel good. And they had this crazy concept, like what if we take the Celine Dion catalog and we mix it with the Titanic film.
So Titanique started in LA. When did you move to New York? How did that work?
So I moved to New York a year ago because we started the show in 2017. We cranked the show out in a month and a half. To me, it seemed like a very fast process, and it was such a brilliant concept. Celine Dion telling the story of Jack and Rose and saying that she was actually on the Titanic. It's just so kooky crazy. And who doesn't love Celine Dion? Who doesn't love Titanic? When you mix the two together, I think that's just like $1 million concept.
Yeah.
So we did
And so does the audience. Like, it's clearly, it's doing so well.
Yeah.
So you created the show. It did well here. You had a couple of runs of it, or like a read of it and then a run of it. How did that work?
We did a reading at the Dancing with the Stars studio. not far from here. And then we did at the Wallace Theater, I think it's called the Sorting Room. They have that smaller theater. We did the show there in December 2017. We did 2 sold out shows. People loved it. And we always did the show kind of as a concert style with music stands, not really with costumes or other than Celine had her gown on, but it was all pretty minimal, and people loved it just because the material and the music and the arrangements and the actors, everyone was so incredible that it just went really well. And from there, we went to the Hayworth the following year, sold out, did another one at Hayworth, sold out, and we said, we have something here. We should take this to New York and see if a New York audience thinks that this is as funny as we do.
So did you do a pitch there, or did you do like a limited run? How did that work?
We did a limited run at the Green Room 42.
And you self-produced that?
We did.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, all of
crazy.
This. That's amazing. That's so hard.
We never really made it big. We always just broke even because we were doing it ourselves. But we got the attention of Eva Price, a New York Broadway producer, when we did the Green Room 42. She came just as a favor to Ty, just to be like, hey, I know you're doing this. Like, let me come check it out. She wasn't really expecting much. And after the show, she said, I have to produce this. We're taking the show somewhere. And so we decided we were going to open Off-Broadway in 2020, and the pandemic hit. We actually went in January and cast the whole show, and we were so excited. And
Seriously?
we were, touring venues and everything, and we were ready to go, and then the pandemic hit. So it stalled the show for a little while. We did a live stream performance of it at Le Poussin Rouge in New York. I think that was 2021, I think. And it was fun, and it did well. It was a little weird to do it not for a live audience, but it was great. And then we opened Off-Broadway at the Asylum, which is no longer there anymore. It's the old UCB space in Chelsea, in the basement of a Gracie's. And I think it's like a 200-seat theater, and we opened there like May, June of last year. And then we transferred to the Darryl Roth Theater in Union Square in December. And we've been there since, and it's just been extension after extension and sold out audiences and repeat fans who come and see the show all the time. And it's great because we didn't even really advertise that hard with it. It was really word of mouth, spread like fire. And I remember our first couple of shows at the Asylum were pretty empty. People didn't know about it. But it quickly became this kind of cultural phenomenon, and it's been fabulous. People love it, and I love doing it every single night. To go and perform pop music, which is my favorite thing to do, is just like a dream come true for me, and it never gets old for me. And I laugh every single night at these jokes. The actors are so great. And the show is different every single night, too. There's an improv quality to it, so it's always different and fun and unique, and I always have a blast. I'm on stage playing keyboard and conducting with my head, and I just have a blast doing it every single night.
So you're listed as music director, you're playing, you're there on stage. First of all, that's like a marathon to still be doing that. How many shows a week do you do?
It's 8 shows a week.
8. So it's like full Broadway schedule, Off-Broadway,
yes.
But you're still doing the full intensity and putting people in. I don't think people know the level of endurance and work that you're doing right now. It's incredible.
Thank
and
you.
The show has won Lucy Lortel Awards.
Lucille Lortel Awards. I think we won 3 of those.
Yeah.
We won the Off-Broadway Alliance Outstanding Musical. We also won the Dorian Theater Outstanding Musical, and we're nominated for so many other awards too. It was great.
That's so incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then on top of that, that's your day job now, which
That's
is
my
a
day
dream.
job. Yes.
On top of that, you're still playing at piano bars all the time. And so I know that last night, you're out in LA for just a few days.
Yes.
Last night and the night before, you played at Tramp Stamp Granny's.
Yes.
If somebody doesn't know, what is that? What do you do there? What's your specialty? And tell us about Tramp Stamp Granny's.
Darren Criss and his amazing wife, Mia, I love them so much. And they have a couple other business partners, but they have a piano bar in Hollywood called Tramp Stamp Granny's. I think it's modeled after Marie's Crisis, is what they say. And it's the spot in Hollywood to go if you want to see some live piano playing and sing along. And I love it so much. It's such a challenge, and it's so different than Titanique. My favorite thing in life is pop music. Like these little 3.5-minute gems, or now 2 minutes and 40 seconds is like the new trend in pop music. But I just love songs more than anything. So the piano bar is a chance for me to go and just perform songs and have people request things that maybe I haven't even played before, but I can pull up the sheet music and sight read it for people. And it's a challenge, and I love it so much. In New York, I play at the Duplex in the West Village. I play at Sid Gold's on Tuesdays in Chelsea. Uncle Charlie's, I've been there a couple times. Don't Tell Mamas, I play there. And it's kind of my nighttime gig after Titanique.
Right, because you're, just have so much free time.
Right. But my Sundays are crazy because I'll do 2 shows at Titanique, and then I do a 7-hour piano bar shift until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then Monday's my day off, and I have to get a 2-hour massage with my massage therapist, David. Hi, David. I love you. Shout out to David. He's just a good friend of mine, and my body is destroyed by this schedule, so I have to get my massage every week.
I'm sure. That's incredible. Okay, if somebody wants to specifically know where you are at piano bars, should they follow your Instagram for that?
I always post on my Instagram. It's at Nicholas Connell. Connell is Connell, 2 N's, 2 L's.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. I can't wait to see you do it live. I've seen you do it online. I've seen all your clips. I love it.
Thank you.
I love yesterday you posted when you have to burp. Yeah. But you have to wait until the musical break.
Yeah. And forgive my voice too. My voice is completely fatigued from the last 2 nights, and I love it. But sometimes I'm playing, and I play for 5 hours, 7 hours at a time, and sometimes I can feel a burp coming up, and I'm like, shoot, I have to wait till the end of this 16-bar phrase, and then I can let it out. Because I can't stop singing. You got to keep going,
Just got to ride the wave.
Yeah, I'm just holding it in my stomach.
I mean, I think of you as a piano player and as a musician first, but your singing is incredible. You're pop singing.
Thank you.
I'm a singer by that was my very first love.
Yes.
And the freedom and the space and the flexibility that you have, is it just practice over the years and mimicking the songs that you love and doing the covers? Is there a technique that you like? How did you land where you have? I mean, other than practicing 7 hours a day for the last X years.
Yeah. I mean, when I was 13, Britney Spears snagged me on the radio. I came home and my brother was blasting Baby One More Time in his bedroom. And I just went and opened his door and I said, what is this? And he's like, duh, it's Britney Spears. She's like the new hot thing. And from then I was just attached to pop music and the Max Martin sound, and Britney Spears is my favorite artist. So I used to just sit in my room for hours and just belt out all of these pop songs. And then my parents put me in some musical theater shows when I was a teenager. I went to the Las Vegas Academy, which was a performing arts high school, and learned more about musical theater singing there. And then I went to Berklee College of Music, had a voice teacher there at the Boston Conservatory, Carrie Deal. Shout out to Carrie Deal, I love you. And she really taught me all the things I needed to know about technique. And then from then on, I've had various voice teachers throughout the years, and then it's just been really just getting myself up in front of crowds and letting it out.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
And I'll tell you what, I love when things are not perfect. I like going for it and making mistakes in front of audiences. I know that it can be really scary, but if you just go for it, you learn so much about your voice and about yourself, and who cares if things go wrong, you have to make mistakes in order to get better.
And there's that magic of the live performance anyway, that if something goes a little wrong, everybody kind of is more awake and aware and remembers that you're human, not just this incredible singer that's perfected on the radio where you get 50 times and you're in a studio and you can do all the takes.
Right. I don't mind making mistakes in front of an audience. I like those little imperfections,
What do you do regularly to kind of practice that being brave muscle? Is it just getting in front of people? Is it experimenting with things? What do you do to be brave, to practice that kind of creative courage muscle?
That's a great question. I really do try to put myself out there as much as possible and try to run towards the uncomfortableness of things. There are times when I've done a show where my heart is racing right before the downbeat, my hands are shaking, and I'm like, you know what, dude? Just breathe and remember that you've done this your whole life, and who cares if things don't go great. I've had keyboards go out in the middle of shows, and you just have to do the best you can and just know that everybody knows that you're human, and it is what it is. Go for it,
Yeah. I love that. Nice.
Yeah. I also you also have to take care of yourself as much as you can. So all the prep work ahead of time prepares you for those moments when things don't go well or when you're not as confident as you have been in the past, you know?
Yeah. Is there anything creatively or even just out in the world that scares you? So snakes, anything,
Snakes absolutely scare me.
Okay.
Oh my God. In fact,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. In fact, I follow a lot of the like crazy snake things on Instagram so I can try to get over it. But like a lot of times I can't watch. I just have
Oh my
to
gosh.
go past it. Yeah.
I've never thought about Instagram exposure therapy. I love that you're trying.
That's totally what it is. Yeah.
I mean, you're on giant stages. You have performed at the highest levels all over the place, and I'm sure you still get nervous sometimes, but what do you do to kind of keep that bravery going, confront things that scare you? Does anything still scare you creatively? Where does that land?
Breathing is a huge thing.
Okay.
You have to breathe just to regulate your body, and then you just have to remind yourself to stay in the moment and do the best that you can in the moment. And what is the intention of this performance? You know, if the intention is to make people laugh and you hear people laughing, then lean into that and enjoy that in the moment as you're performing, you know?
I love that. And that kind of connects to something I like to ask from an actor's point of view and a director's point of view. You think about the intention, what do I want to do?
Right.
And so if your intention is to make them laugh and you do, check, you won.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you can think of like those action verbs or intentions of I want to inspire or educate or, you know, make people, entertain people and make them laugh? Does anything come up regularly for you?
Yes, I want people just to be entertained and be joyous. I want them
that.
to love that they're there, you know? And also I'm so inspired by my heroes and knowing that they've done all the big stages and everything. I'm like, you know what? They've trained me. I can do that, you know. I know I can do that because they can do that, and they've inspired me so hard, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's all about the audience experience. Like I just want people to enjoy themselves. That's the biggest thing.
And clearly from Titanique and all your shows at Rockwell especially, just that sense of joy and ease and just stepping away from the world. It's really beautiful, and people keep coming back. You have people that are coming back dozens of times.
Yes, it's fabulous. Even good friends of mine who are like, I'm not coming to see you, I'm coming to see Titanique. I'm like, that's great, that's fabulous. That's all I could ask for.
I'm not supporting you, I'm just enjoying myself.
Or people who have said throughout the years, like, I saw it in LA, your first reading, and then I saw it at the Asylum, and then I saw it at the Darryl Roth. It's so cool to have that history with people, and you know, this was my favorite production, and like it's cool. Each production we've had has had different strengths, and the nature of the show is so improv based and keeps up with the pop culture that it's ever changing. So you never see the same show when you see Titanique. It's fabulous.
That's got to be so refreshing too when you're doing, I've done a couple of long runs of shows that are hundreds of shows long.
Yes.
And just, you know, you have to find something to kind of re-engage with it. So having it be alive probably helps so much.
Yeah, and the cool about another cool part about our show is every actor that goes in or every musician who goes in gets to kind of put their own spin on things, their own stank on it, and I love that so much because I don't want it to be a cookie cutter thing that's the same every single night. I like being inspired by the different energies and the mix of people, and it's always different because people are going in and out, and it's so joyous to me. And I've met so many amazing contacts through this. Oh my God, even just like our original Ruth Off-Broadway, Ryan Duncan. Shout out to Ryan Duncan, I love you. He is someone who I saw in Altar Boys Off-Broadway. Do you remember that musical, Altar Boys? I saw that in college and I was obsessed. I went back, just like our Titanique's coming to see the show 13 times. I saw Altar Boys like 13 times in the course of like 2 years. And I saw Ryan Duncan on stage, and I love him so much. He's a creative genius. His voice is incredible. And then here he is now in my show, and I'm like, how do I get to work with this person? Nicole Parker is someone that I idolized growing up. I watched her on Mad TV, and her Britney Spears was so funny and inspired me. And now she just played Celine for a couple months, and I love her. And like, how crazy that I get to work with these amazing people. It's incredible and inspiring, and it makes me want to go even harder and further, you know?
Okay, if you could go harder and further, who would be other dream collaborators like that? Have you thought of that?
My biggest idol, and sorry, Brittany, I love Brittany so much because she is number two for me, but Max Martin, the guy who writes and produces those amazing pop songs, who kind of was unknown for a while and now has his Anne Juliet musical on Broadway, which is
also Eva
produced
right?
that, as well, yeah.
Yeah, and we have that connection that Eva was my producer for 2 of my national tours.
When you played Miss Frizzle.
I did, Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. It was fantastic.
Would love to see that.
It was really, really cool, very satisfying.
Yeah.
And just to know that she's kind of making this art happen and helping you to take the next step with your show is it's so incredible.
Titanique was nominated, I forget which award it was, but was in the same category as Anne Juliet, and I was just like, how is this happening that our show is in the same category as my idol's show? Like, this is wild to me that this is all happening right now.
Oh, I just got chills. I love that.
So I'd love to work with Max Martin.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with Brittany, of course. Oh my God. My buddy Tim Willis, who played keys for Titanique in Los Angeles years ago, played keyboards for Britney Spears. And I'm just like, oh my God, like she's just like 1 degree of separation away from me, like it's so exciting. And then like, Larry O'Keefe is someone that I idolize. He wrote Legally Blonde, and he's like such a good. I feel like I do pop comedy. That's kind of my wheelhouse, and he has the same mentality as me, or similar mentality. So I would love to collaborate with him. Stephen Schwartz, I would love to collaborate with. Madonna, I would love to do something with.
Oh my gosh, I see so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Have you thought about kind of dream projects like that? Or is it just more the collaborators themselves that inspire you?
With these recording artists and songwriters, it's more like a studio thing that I want to do with them. I would like to write music with them, produce music, sing with them, perform with them. I think in a theater setting, like I do want to continue to create shows and kind of send them out into the night and see what comes back to me. Because I have so many ideas for shows and so many fabulous collaborators that I just want to keep creating. So that's my goal as I move forward, is let me just keep creating and exuding pop positivity.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Well, you're definitely succeeding wildly.
Thank you.
So
Thank
keep
you.
on keeping on. If you could look at kind of the state of affairs of the entertainment industry right now, is there anything that comes to mind that you'd love to see change, or that you're worried about, or that you are excited about? Where would you like to see things go?
I feel like being an artist is so hard in this world. I feel like the system doesn't really cater to us. We're kind of weird people off to the side, I would love to see artists get health insurance easier. That's like such a big thing, because it just doesn't happen for a lot of people. And even if you book 3 really great TV shows that year, you could still not have health insurance. So I would like to see these people at the top taking in most of the wealth. I would like that to see that more evenly distributed. It's already a hard world for artists, and it's getting harder, and all of these strikes that are happening, it's like there's a real problem. Things need to change, and I hope that they change and make artists' lives better, so that we can focus on creating and being creative and not having to deal with this kind of stuff, I would like to see things better for minorities, women and gays. Representation is incredibly important for people to see themselves in all of the things that are happening in life. And I just feel like a lot of people are under attack right now. I think racial groups, the queer community, women are under attack. And it's really hurts me on a daily basis, and it really frustrates me. So I try to be conscious of equality as like my driving value. And so I try to be conscious of representation in casting situations, and try to do everything I can to lift everybody up and give everybody an even playing field. Everybody needs an equal opportunity to show their stuff, So that's definitely a driving value for me, and I would like to see more and more and more of that as we move forward. It's gotten better, but we still have a long way to go, I think.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Let's swing totally different.
Okay.
So, for you as a creator, what do you like to do, and what does your creative process look like?
I love a creative process because it doesn't have to be any certain way. It can always be a different process. For songwriting, I think that if you have a fierce concept, you can just run at that and just like I like to throw all the spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. It could start with a melodic idea. So I have one song on Spotify. I should have so many more, but I have my one song that I wrote like 11 years ago. It's called Drum Driving. Like, have you ever drummed on your dashboard during? Yeah. So that's the idea of the song, and it's actually kind of a fantasy hot rod, like on the strip in Las Vegas kind of song. My dad had hot rods growing up and built a hot rod, and so I was always around him working on his cars, and so that kind of is a fantasy song about being in your car and just having a blast. So that song, just that melody came to me in a dream. I just woke up and I was like, I've got the whole chorus, and I went straight to my piano and I wrote it down, and I had a couple of the lyrics from my dream. It was bizarre how it happened, and it just poured out of me. It was so easy to write that song. Other songs, like, you write a little bit of it, and then you come back to it 3 months later. It could take years to write a song, but it's always a different process for me, and I like to go towards the thing that inspires me the most first. Yeah. And it's also okay during your process if things change and you go a completely different way, or if you scrap ideas too. It's just important to keep the energy flowing and the excitement flowing. And then so I'm writing a show called Mannie with my collaborators, Wendy Rosoff and DeTrinis. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah.
So fun.
We've been working on this for 3 years, and it's kind of a musical theater fever dream. I call it musical theater tapas, where we're kind of parroting the Annie musical, but also referencing lots of contemporary musicals like Wicked, and Grease 2 is in there too. And I think with that process, they came to me with a script, and I had all these different songs that I had to attack. So I just went to the thing that really inspired me first, like the most first. And I just kind of moved from whatever made me excited the most, and then tackled everything, and it came together.
Beautiful. In the creative process, when you're going from 0 to 1, and you've talked about how you get your ideas, but what do you technically do? Do you write it out? Do you capture it by playing and recording it? What do you do?
All of the above.
Love it.
I try to focus on the big picture first. What is the message of this? What's the intention of this? And then I try to write down the big picture things, from start to finish. What does this look like? Kind of just in basic terms, like here's the first part, middle part, last part. And then I try to get a little more creative with the specifics of the words, or I record the piano into recordings and listen. It's always great to record stuff, and then when you listen back to it the next day, you might have a very different attitude than you had the day before. You might think this is the most brilliant thing, and then you're like, oh God, it's not the next day. Or you might say, like, this idea means nothing, and then the next day you're like, no, actually there's something there. So I use Finale to notate sheet music. So a lot of times if I know that this is the hook, or I know that this is the theme that I want, I'll write that down in Finale so that it's set and I can always refer back to that. But recordings are a great way to do it. And then just jotting things down on my phone. When I'm writing songs, the music comes easy to me and it pours out of me. The lyrics are the hard part for me. I'm just like not as good with words, but I'm so good with the music. I've just done the music my whole life, so that's the easy part. So with lyrics, when I'm out in public, just like seeing a movie or with friends or whatever, anything that catches my eye or my ear, if I hear a cool phrase, I immediately write it down in my notes on my phone. And I can refer back to my phone for concepts of songs or specific lyrics, or like what's the hot like buzzwords of today. And so I have just this huge document in my phone that's all the word ideas that I have.
Oh, that's brilliant. Do you, in an ideal world, work with someone who is actually doing the book and the lyrics so you get to focus on the music? Or do you like having the challenge of doing both, or just a mix?
I like the challenge of both.
Okay.
I love a mix of both. I really love words. As much as it doesn't come as easy to me as the music, I still love doing it, and I love being a poet. So it's a mix of projects. If I know someone is that's their wheelhouse. They do the book, then like, oh my God, please go for it, and I'll just be the music person. But if it seems like we have that shared interest and they're willing to go for it, then we'll do both. You know, I'm happy to do all of it.
That's so great.
Yeah, it all inspires me. Yeah.
Other than Finale, what other programs do you like to use, or technology? Is there anything that you have recommendations for?
Ableton Live is my absolute favorite program to use. That's
I've never used it. What is that?
Ableton is a DAW, a digital audio workstation, and you can produce music in it. So that's how I produce all of my YouTube covers. That's how I produce. In Titanique, there's backing tracks. So it's a 4-piece band that plays with these backing tracks, so it sounds like a 20-piece orchestra. And I just produce those in my computer. We upload that to the TD50 kit. And it's the SPDSX going through the TD50, cookie crazy, all this equipment. But the drummer, on the downbeat will trigger the track, and then the band is hearing a metronome. So we're all playing to a metronome so that the track is right in sync with our playing.
That's incredible. I've done that just enough to know how hard it is and amazing it is that you get that blend of live musicians and the feeling of a huge orchestra. Does this happen for every song, or is it all paced out, or do you do like one act at a time? How does it work technically?
Anytime that we go into a moment where we're on autopilot, like song 14 is Because You Loved Me, and we start with an opening vamp, we just go ba da 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 back and forth while the scene is happening, and then when it's time for all those times, and that's when the drummer triggers the track, and then we go on autopilot to the end of the song.
Great. Okay.
So the track is triggered, you hear the harp glisses and the suspended cymbals and all that fun, there's huge string section, and then at the end of the song, the track dies out and the band is holding the chord, and then we can do the rubato with the actor and follow them so that it goes back to completely live instruments. So it's kind of a mix of both like completely live playing and then the backing tracks. I'd say like backing tracks are like maybe 70% of the show, something like that.
Yeah, that's such a great blend. That's so cool.
I love it. I like really big production value.
Yes.
So like the cool thing about Titanique is I think there's 11 characters in the cast. Yeah, there's 11, and they're all powerhouse singers.
Yes.
So I like big vocal arrangements. And so they're all singing backup for each other. And because they're all powerhouse singers, it just sounds like we're in a studio with a million voices. It's so exciting. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You talked briefly about your YouTube channel, which is wildly successful.
Thank
and
you.
This whole other side of you.
Thank you.
And there you sing and play, and you get a lot of amazing guest artists.
Yes.
What was the inspiration for that? I know it's been around for a long time. Just talk about your YouTube channel.
Cool. I'm so happy to talk about my YouTube channel. I love it so much, and I don't give it enough attention, and that makes me so sad. I'm just so burnt out by all the other stuff that I'm doing. But one day I will get back to doing more regular videos. The YouTube channel has been really, really incredible for me personally. When YouTube first came out, I just threw up a cover of Gimme More by Britney Spears. And I was like a little, 18-year-old, and my friend was just recording me at her piano, and people really liked it and responded well to it. But then there was a bunch of people who were like, he sounds like a frog, because I'd be like, gimme, blah. And like, I sounded like a little bit like a frog.
Fry.
Yeah, I like that Britney vocal fry,
Yeah.
But then a VH1 blog picked it up, and then it just kind of went like a little bit viral, overnight it got, 200,000 hits or something like that. And I was like, oh, cool, I have something here. So let me start making more videos. And I just started singing at my piano live. And then as time went on and I learned more about producing, the production value went up.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I got to hire a videographer now because the music is so good, but the videos I'm just doing with my phone or my computer. And so I started working with Arno. I love you so much. Arno did a bunch of my videos as the videographer, and we collaborate so well together. And he's like my brother. I just love him so much. And I've just put out videos over the year of live shows that I did in college. The biggest video that happened is my buddy Nick Olaf Jacobson Larson, who is now the conductor of Michael Bublé on tour and does albums with him. And it's so cookie crazy. But Nick and I did a South Park concert in college Nick and I just like to rent out performance spaces in college because we were students and we could rent out the facilities for free. And we did the South Park concert and people loved it. It was completely packed. And in fact, people were in the hallway listening in on it. And it was just all the songs of South Park, the show and the movie. And we both orchestrated it. I music directed, he conducted. We had a fabulous cast of singers who all just wanted to have fun. And we put this video up of Kyle's Mom is a Bitch. Can I say that?
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely.
And it has millions of views now. It's crazy. So that's my biggest video is people just still talk about it and respond to it and comment every day on it. And it was on Reddit and all these things. So that video, because that was so popular, it kind of led people to my other videos. And so these videos are so personal to me because I love pop music and I put the songs up that I connect with, not necessarily what the biggest hit of the day is, but I have a cover of This Love by Taylor Swift that I love so much. It's so personal to me because I connect so hard to that song. That situation happened to me. And also I collaborated with my friends, Brian Justin Crumb helped me out with Arno and I recording the video, and just that experience of being with my friends and creating something that I think is really beautiful really touches my heart. In fact, I played the piano bar last night at Tramp Stamp Granny's in Hollywood, and this guy came and sat at the bar kind of next to me for hours. And I was like, who are you? Like, what's going on? He was like, oh, I'm like a fan of your YouTube channel. I have This Love on repeat every day. Like, it's my favorite song. I saw that you're in Hollywood. I had to come see you. And I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy that it's all full circle.
Yeah.
And even people who are fans of my YouTube channel then come to see Titanique. And so it's all connected. And I'm loving that aspect, that community aspect of it. And then also it gets really deep too. Like, I had a cover of Firework, Katy Perry, and these two men in the UK, it was their wedding song. They played it as they were walking down the aisle together. And I'm like, this is crazy because I don't even think that cover is good, but it touched them and they love it so much and it meant something to them as a couple. So that was their wedding song. And then I've had somebody else say, like, I was thinking of committing suicide and then I heard your music and like, I can't. I can't, like, I have to live, you inspire me. That's when it gets like crazy. Like, I'm like, how, like, it's just wild to me. And I'm so happy that I can connect with people that way. And it's a really beautiful thing. So the YouTube channel is very important to me personally. It's kind of my creative outlet that is just like so me. And I don't know, I just love it. I'm happy that I have it.
I love it, and now I'm kind of crying. So. But I think that's so important because art is something that connects to people at such a personal level, and we have to kind of just put it out there and trust that it's going to connect with the right people in the right time.
Right.
That I'm grateful you're getting those stories back so that it gives you inspiration for keeping doing it in the future. Is there anything else that you think of that helps keep you inspired in those low times or when you're burnout, or are there quotes or people or pieces of art or anything that comes to mind for you?
I'm continually inspired by the artists that I'm around.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. And when I am low, I go back to my favorites. Oops, I Did It Again, as crazy as it is to say, is my favorite song in the entire universe. And it inspires me and I learn new things about it every time, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't listen to that bass lick there or whatever. And those nostalgic things, even like TV shows and stuff that you've watched a million times, when you go back to it, it inspires you. So I try to go back to the favorites, the nostalgia, and that really gets me going. And then I know the new hot thing inspires me too. I love Padum Padum. It's my absolute favorite song right now, and I feel like enough people know about it. And that song really inspires me because I'm taking more of like a minimal pop sound route lately, and that's the trend that's in the industry.
Yeah.
The songs are much shorter, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I like that minimal pop sound.
Do you know where that trend is coming from, or who really took us in that direction, or is it just everyone in the industry has kind of silently agreed that that's a good place to be?
I think it's just technology and the attention spans of
Okay.
people and TikTok and that kind of thing. Like all we need is a hook for 2.5 minutes and we can get by with that. I still hope.
But you like that, and what I think is so interesting is I think a lot of people kind of knee-jerk reaction push back against that, but you're finding inspiration in that, and I think that's interesting.
You're hitting the nail on the head. Absolutely. I resisted it when I first realized what was happening, because I was like 3.5 minutes or 3:40 is like ideal for a pop song. But now I'm like, I see a song like Padum Padum and I'm like, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm not mad at that. Like the song really does it for me and inspires me so much. So I'm kind of embracing that trend right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have a lot of listeners who are creators or kind of in the closet creators who want to be doing more, but something's holding them back. A lot of times it's just not seeing people like you succeeding or feeling like it's all too much.
Sure.
Or it's scary to kind of put things out there when you're comparing your baby steps with somebody else's 15-year later steps.
Yes.
Do you have any advice? What would you say?
Yes. I think that I don't believe there's such thing as an overnight sensation. I think those people who seem to be overnight sensations have been doing it for years and years and years and are just in the right moment at the right time and are prepared, and then they blow up and they become big. I think you're not limited by your gear. Whatever you have, get really creative with it. You know, when I first had the software that I was producing in, I was a student. I didn't have much money to get the full suite version of the Ableton that I wanted, but I got a smaller one where it's 16 tracks, or like even I had a physical 16-track mixer. And what I would do is I would like bounce 2 tracks to 1 track so that I had an extra one to record on. And like I wasn't limited by the gear that I had. I just used what I had to the fullest and got really creative with it. So whatever gear you have, even if it's just your cell phone, there's so much that you can do with that. So you need to figure out what inspires you and how you can use that gear to the fullest, I think. What else can I say? You just really need to put yourself out there and go for it. And who cares if you make a mistake? I love mistakes so much.
I love that.
Yeah, this idea of perfection is outrageous. Like, you'll never be perfect, but you know, the mistakes are kind of perfect. So go for it, you know?
One of the Miss Frizzle quotes is, "Let's get messy." And it's very much apropos with that.
And speaking of quotes, I want to tell everybody my papa's 2 quotes. I love my papa, rest in peace, I love you so much, but he used to tell me, never trouble till trouble troubles you, because you can get so, you know, in your head and ridden with anxiety, and you just need to realize that, like, if it's not bothering you yet, or whatever you're worrying about hasn't hit yet, it's not worth it to focus on it, to obsess over it. And the other thing he said is, the harder I work, the luckier I get, which I've taken with me my whole career. And I've always tried to say yes to a lot of different opportunities because it makes you a well-rounded artist, and you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket. If you do a lot of different things and one of them goes south, you have all these other pokers in the fire, you know? Yeah. So I have gotten better at saying no, because I used to just say yes to everything and then I burnt out.
Yeah.
But at the start, it's great to say yes to everything that comes your way, or most of what comes your way. If even a little piece of it feels right, go for it and see what you learn from it. You know, not every project is going to be a huge success or a huge fulfilling experience, but it's worth it. You learn things from different projects.
I'm really inspired by how you've managed to find success in creating across a variety of mediums. So it's one thing to have a successful musical theater career. It's a totally different thing to have a successful YouTube channel. And then you've got this parody kind of career that spans both of those, and I just find it so inspiring that you're able to take your talents and make them work across so many different mediums. What's that like for you? Do you feel like you're the same person in every medium? Do you feel like you have to really make changes in your identity or how you think about your art in those different mediums? How does that work for you?
I do feel like the same person in all the different mediums, but I feel like I'm showing different sides of me. Mm-hmm. To me, they're all connected. Mm-hmm. When you get good at one thing, it automatically makes you good at the other thing. So like with the Titanique show, it's a little bit more of like a formal, it's a real production. And so there's a downbeat that you have to make. I have to conduct into a camera. The gear is much higher quality than the stuff that I'm doing at the piano bar. But then when I go to the piano bar, it's like the Wild West. You don't know what's going to happen. It's crazy. And you're dealing with drunk people and you don't know what requests you're going to get. There's a song that someone requests that you don't know, but I'm going to go for it. I have the sheet music. I found it on script. I'm going to do it right now. And so I think that all of these different challenges that are brought up in all the different mediums, they all make you better at the other challenges. So I just love trying new things and being the best artist I can be. So I don't know, go for it. Like, I love all of the different mediums.
Some artists have an alter ego or a persona or kind of this performer character that they step into that helps them kind of get where they need to go. Do you find yourself doing that?
It does come up for me in kind of a smaller way that maybe people looking at what I'm doing wouldn't notice. But in my musical theater career, I used Nicholas James Connell, my full name. And that's more of my formal jobs. When I'm doing my pop stuff or my piano bar live performances, Nicholas Connell is my name. And when I'm like Nicholas Connell, I am fearless and I go for it and I'm sweaty and imperfect and I love it. When I'm Nicholas James Connell, it's much more of like just a formal presentation of myself.
That's so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's still you, but it's just how you step into that space as that version of yourself.
Exactly.
That serves the purpose that you're there for.
Yes.
Any fun stories or mishaps or anything through the years of showbiz?
Mishaps? I had, oh God, this was like such a bad situation, but it all worked out just fine. But I was so upset at this one Hayworth production that we did of Titanique because I spent 2 months programming this Keys 2. And on the day of, my computer was working fine at home. I packed it up, we went to the theater, opened the computer, and it was not working. And I was just freaking out because David Foster was coming to see the show night with his wife.
Can you give people context of who that is?
David Foster is an amazing, amazing songwriter, producer, pianist. Kat McPhee is his wife, but he has worked with Celine Dion, especially. That we have lots of David Foster songs in Titanique, which is so exciting because I love him. He is a master of melody and meaningful lyric and harmony and form and arrangement of it all. And his productions are so full with acoustic instruments. There's not a lot of synth happening. There's a lot of big orchestral production happening in that stuff. And I love it because it's so catchy and fun to listen to on repeat. So David Foster was coming to see the show. And I was freaking out because our Keys 2 didn't work. And I already had so much. We get in the day of, and we have to put everything up and put everything together ourselves. So I didn't have time to fix that. And I was just like so upset. But my buddy Tim Willis, who I mentioned earlier, he said, "Don't worry about it, dude. Like, let me figure it out. I'll go to the Apple store." He did. They couldn't figure it out. So Tim took it upon himself to just program a few patches before the show. And then he still played the Keys 2. It wasn't all of the CD sounds that I wanted, but he nailed it. Like in a pinch, he just like alleviated my fears. We presented so well. David loved the show. Kat loved the show. And I think we got his blessing to move forward with everything. So,
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
It was a scary moment, but it all worked out just great. So
wow.
Yeah, and I love those moments too because we all take care of each other. When one artist falls down, the other one picks them up. Yeah. And those are magical moments in this industry, I think.
Yeah, that you feel like you have collaborators and also just teammates and friends.
Totally.
It's such a big deal.
Totally,
Aww.
yes.
One of the things I like to do is give my audience a creative challenge. So if you had a creative challenge for my audience that they could do in a short amount of time that might be scary, but it's kind of going from 0 to 1 and putting themselves out there in a way that feels kind of good and personal to what we've talked about, what would you say?
I think a great Creators Cafe challenge would be to take whatever is your favorite song or the most inspiring piece of art that you love right now and just write something that is your version of it or that is your sequel to that, and just start with a chunk of it. You don't have to do the whole thing, but like just starting with a chorus or just starting with a scene, doing something like that, that's a great way to start a project.
I love that so much.
Yeah, and I'm also so inspired by the melodies that I hear, and I'll take a melody that I love and then I'll just kind of like make it my own, change it a little bit, and then it's completely my own. So that's my challenge for people.
And you've made a career out of this.
Yeah,
too,
thank you.
Which
Yes.
is incredible.
Yes.
Okay, so for that one, it's going to be Creators Cafe Challenge. And then hashtag Creators Cafe Challenge and hashtag CCC Nicholas. Nicholas.
Yes, thank you.
And we will know that it's that one. So you can do that at our Instagram or at our Facebook group.
Fabulous.
And I'll have all the information in the show notes.
Ooh, I can't wait to join the group.
We'll totally watch all of them.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Yeah, show
So
us what you got.
excited.
I'm very excited.
Yes, please.
Cool.
Okay, you're amazing. And
You're amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at Nicholas Connell. Connell is my last name. TitaniqueMusical.com is the website for our Off-Broadway show. And Titanique is spelled Titanique, musical.com. And then also my YouTube channel. And also I always post on my Instagram when I'm going to be at the piano bar, either in Hollywood or Las Vegas or New York City. In Hollywood, I'm at Tramp Stamp Granny's. In New York City, I'm at the Duplex a lot of the time. That's in the West Village. On Tuesdays, I'm at Sid Gold's in Chelsea. Don't Tell Mama is another one, and Uncle Charlie's is another one that I play at.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So people can just watch you on Instagram to find out where you're going to be for those.
Yes, please come see me. I would love for you to sing along with me. It's so fun. We just have a great time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything else? Any other stories? Any other questions? Any asks for the audience? Anything you want to leave them with?
Oh my gosh, I just want to say, this career for me has been hard, but I always knew I should keep going. I always knew I would get somewhere. I really believed in myself. So I think even in those low moments, you should just keep trucking, and eventually you'll come out that gray cloud and you'll come and rise above it, and the skies will be blue and everything will be golden. And you should just keep going. If you really, really love this and you really love the work that you're doing and inspired by what you're doing, then just keep going as hard as it gets. Keep going.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing, and congratulations. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Yay. Nicholas Connell.
Jessica Payne.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That's
This was
fabulous.
Perfect. Join the community and share your creative challenges on Instagram and Facebook at Creators Cafe by Kika Labs. And also check out my website, kikalabs.com, KIKALABS.com, to sign up for the mailing list so you always know when a new podcast is released, and to check out my coaching and digital courses to help you be a more confident and joyful creator.